Gareth, you earned the right to be the top seed. How did you feel being top of the pile? And the other teams that came out, how do you feel about the draw?
Certainly when Denmark came out and you could still have Denmark, Croatia, Italy or something like that, then you're wondering where it's heading. But then of course you have to be very careful not to underestimate the opponents you have, because I've seen, I've been fortunate as a coach and a player. I've been to 8 tournaments. I've seen a lot of teams that were fancied and well ranked going into tournaments not deliver and not get out of their group. So we have to have the humility to start again, as well as we've been playing and as well as we've built over a long period of time. And we've had sort of 5 years we've been ranked in the top 5 in the world for 5 years. So we've had consistency of performances and results. But a new tournament means a new challenge, and the first objective is to get out of the group again.
I spoke to a couple of the coaches who are so complimentary about what you've done just with the team, not in your time, at the time you had been in the team, but just in the last couple of years. They're seeing real development. I don't know whether they've tried to pile pressure on you, but how do you feel about that pressure? All those compliments coming from so many managers here today.
Yeah, well, I take that with a pinch of salt. Managers are good at that, because I do it myself. But no, I think, look, it's clear the team are heading in a good direction. The rankings came out this week. We were 3rd in the world, so I think our performances across the calendar year have been good. 8 wins, 2 draws. We won the toughest qualifying group and we won it comfortably. But that's history, and you have to go again in the next calendar year. So it's nice when we travel around Europe. I have to say, we do get well received, and we do get a lot of credit, which is lovely. But of course, we know there's still a step we want to take, and that's what drives us.
Gareth, what pressure do you feel you're under when you look now for the preparations for this group stage? You want to win the tournament. It's been semi-finals, a final, quarter-finals. How much pressure are you under from yourself, the whole thing, to actually take this team and win a title?
Well, you're quite right. Probably the biggest pressure is what you put on yourself because of what you want to achieve and what you want to bring for your country, really. But it's no more or less than when I started in the job 7 years ago. We now have a lot more experience of big matches, a lot more experience of navigating tournaments. So we're looking forward to it. We're hoping that we can give our fans, our public, some more great nights like I think we have in the last 3 tournaments.
What do you think you've learned from, you mentioned there the last 3 tournaments, you've got so close. What do you think you've learned that can help you just go that step further?
Well, the first thing is that when you have a difficult performance or a difficult result, which happens in every tournament, we've been able to navigate that. Even the players have got used to that. We had one with Scotland in the last Euros, we had one with the USA in the last World Cup. So you have to stay on track in those moments. But also we've got great experience of really big matches. I mean, we've had several quarterfinals which people kind of dismiss now, but quarterfinals of major tournaments are big games, and we won one in Russia against Sweden that we won quite comfortably. We beat Ukraine, which was also one that looked more comfortable because of the way we approached it. They're big nights, and they're stored in the memory bank for us as a staff, but also a lot of the players that are with us.
Can you give us a sense of how the players will feel? They'll know the draw that's come through. They'll be hungry, but you've got a special group, a generation of players here. Everyone here is asking me, how good is Harry Kane? How good is Jude Bellingham? I'll ask Gareth Southgate, he'll tell me. But in terms of the players, how much do they think this is a moment in time, a special moment for them to deliver for their country?
Well, I think every group of players realises that you only get a certain number of tournaments, and you want to be playing in a team that has a chance of winning. And results over a consistent period would tell you that we are one of those teams that can, as the French will feel, as the Portuguese will feel as well. So there are good teams in Europe. It's a tournament that has had all sorts of different winners because teams have peaked at the right moments. Denmark did it themselves, Greece did it. So it does throw up some anomalies, but we want to be going into every tournament competitive as we are. We set that out 10 years ago. Can we get to the latter stages of tournaments regularly? Because that's how you learn to win in the end.
Listen, I know you've got to take who you're drawn against, but you've had to play a home nation the last 2 tournaments, Wales at the last World Cup, Scotland at the Euros. A little bit of relief that it's not a home nation, because there's a different edge to that kind of game, isn't there, a home nation game?
Well, there is. I mean, they're great games, I have to say. They are really great games, and for the fans, they of course have that additional appeal. But look, they're both good football teams in the end. That's the biggest thing. And obviously Wales, Rob's still got a couple of stages to go, but Steve's done a brilliant job with Scotland to get them where they are. I think he'll be looking at that group thinking that's possible to get through. So yeah, in terms of the quality of what they are, you'd rather not play them. But in terms of the local derby element, they're brilliant games to be a part of.
Just one about the sort of the fans, if I may. This is heartland of football. It could be, it's as good as being in England. The support's going to be fantastic. The English fans will travel in huge numbers as well. Just talking to Casper Hillman as well, said there's going to be so many Danes coming over for that. This tournament, it's already an excitement about the fans and the fans' involvement. How much does that help you as well, knowing you could have 10, 20, 30,000 English fans in a stadium?
Yeah, well, the most recent tournaments have been a little bit different because it wasn't so easy to get to Russia or Qatar, and the Euros, we were coming out of COVID and was very different as well. So this will be a little bit more like the tournaments when I was playing and when I was growing up, and yeah, we're looking forward to that. We're pleased that our fans are excited because that's what it's all about. Good
stuff, Gareth. Thank you for your time. Appreciate that. Good to see you again.
Picture there before we head to this.
Jack of all trades. I was just wondering how you feel the squad's place compared to the last Euros. How are you going into it? Do you feel in a better place as a group?
Yes, it's a good question really, because hard to think back that far in my head. Definitely we've got more experience again of big matches. Going into that tournament, for example, the likes of Declan Rice, Calvin Phillips hadn't played a minute of European club football, so that tournament for them, every game was the biggest they'd played in their lives, I would have said. Now they've got great experiences with us, they've got great experiences with their clubs, which pretty much the whole squad have really, bar the younger ones that are coming through. So I think there is more of that big match experience. But yeah, hard to compare. I think we've progressed. I think our performances have been consistently good over the last couple of years. But we have to go and do that again next year.
Now you've got your opponents, how quickly can you sort out the friendlies? Are they basically rubber stamp now in June? And the base camp as well, we're all desperate to know about that. Is that close to being finalised?
Well, today allows us to take those plans to the next stage. So definitely the friendlies, we've got an idea on dates, but we can now look at the opponents with more detail. And similar with the base camp, we know roughly now where our matches will be played, so we can start to cement those plans in the next few days, really.
And finally, a bit of a weird one. Did you notice any weird noises in the hall? And some came across the TV.
I did. I'm assuming it was some sort of a prank, but it was hard to really make out what it was. Yeah.
Gareth, just one on Jude. I mean, he knows Germany very well. A lot of the other managers are saying he's the player to watch, could be the player, one of the players in the tournament. Is he going to be the difference perhaps this time for England to get over the line?
We've got some very good players, and the strength of our group has been that it's been a team. So he's progressing brilliantly, but he's still a young player, and we don't want to put any more pressure on him than already exists. But everything he's had to deal with to this point in his career, he's done brilliantly, and he's had a fabulous year with us. He's had a fantastic start with Real Madrid.
Cheers then.
Okay. Cheers.